is this like super tube? Ladies and gentlemen, we got some notes for you. Now, y'all, the big three conversation. When it comes to Kendrick Lamar, Drake, J. Cole, these are hip-hop's notorious big three. But I want to ask y'all, who generated this conversation to begin with? I'm going to be honest with y'all. I think it was literally their labels, hip-hop magazines, editorials, gatekeepers, establishing parameters to control the perception and narrative of hip-hop through their artists. And yeah, we're going to break this down. So make sure y'all subscribe to the Super Tube and vibe with the dude, okay? And you know who the best is, that's you, all right? And 2008 to 2009, that was the blog era. That was when the blog era just started. Honorable mentions for the big three when this conversation first started was Kid Cudi, Wale, and Big Sean. These guys are honorable mentions, and notice that they all came out during that time. You can even put Big Crit in there as well. Now, after the blog era, that's when you get like the Pitchfork era. These random blogs, and Pitchfork is not a random blog because Pitchfork is still around, right? But I'm speaking about these other blogs that surfaced around that time. They were creating a subculture out of it. What this moment did, it allowed them to invest equity in the conversation. There was a few blogs out there just putting on these overnight sensations, and it's like, yo, who is this artist? Nobody knows this guy. But Drake and Kendrick and J. Cole, they managed to dominate the conversation the whole time. And Drake was Cash Money, Universal, Kendrick Lamar's with Top Dog, Interscope, J. Cole with Jay-Z, Live Nation, Rock Nation. They were, in a way, covered by the big threes of their previous generations. Before them, the conversation about the big three, who was the original big three? Who the best MCs? Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas, right? Or who the best MCs? You could replace Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas with Pac, right? It was literally Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. And then, of course, you could replace Tupac with any one of those names in any order. But the big three dynamic, once again, allowed them to monopolize the conversation and let artists dominate the narrative. Now, even throughout the digital era, that still didn't affect the relevance of these guys, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, J. Cole, because they had the talent, notoriety, and the sales to match. And these are also aspects of what make the big three the big three. The best performer out of these three to me is J. Cole. I've seen J. Cole perform one time and he doesn't mess up one time. Deadass. He's a very great performer, y'all. He does not mess up one time. Now, Kendrick Lamar, amazing performer. He's another flawless performer. He's excellent. And then I'm going to have to put Drake third in terms of the performance aspect. And Drake is actually getting better with his live shows. But J. Cole, his breath control is perfect. Like, he's a flawless performer. And him and The Weeknd, too. The Weeknd, fantastic. And you know, this is my bias when I look at a big three, because when I see an artist perform, that's what really makes me rate. I gotta see how you performing on stage and that athleticism in order for me to really give you some notches, right? Now, Drake, of course, I said he's a solid performer, but Drake, he learned and acquired mastery in that department, okay? And Kendrick Lamar, he got that dance when he performed, where he stays at one spot and he does that two-step sway. I don't know what to call that. It's Kendrick doing. I mean, it looked fly, but it's like he's literally standing in one spot, swaying from left to right, and it's the most fire you ever seen. I don't know how he learned that, but Kendrick Lamar mastered that. Very great performer, right? But ladies and gentlemen, these guys, they started the big three conversation. Aside from the Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas, that didn't really exist before Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Drake. Now, do we keep this going because their labels and gatekeepers created a conversation to freeze them perpetually in a state of dominance? They are the big three of their generations. We also don't have to keep doing the big three, big three, big three. It comes off like a spell or some type of program, right? Some type of permanent thing that we always have to adhere adhere to. Now, of course, we know that the power of the number 3 is pretty cool, right? That's why 3 always seems to be that dominant number. There's a lot of reasons for that, but in the case of artists and music, I really think that big 3 conversation was started by labels. I think it was started by the big wigs that was running the show to always keep their respective artists in the conversation. Because now look, in 2015, who's the big 3 of after Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and Jay-Z? We cannot keep putting up these 3 gentlemen as the big 3. When they're 45, 50 years old, we're still going to be saying that they're the big 3. And I think that people have to be honest with themselves. These 3 have been some of the most successful acts in rap and hip-hop, period. J. Cole, millions of records sold. Diamond, Kendrick Lamar, millions of records sold. Diamond this, Diamond that. Drake, millions of records sold. Billions of records sold. Diamond this, double all of this, double diamond plaques out the wazoo. These 3 gentlemen, undeniable, undoubted success that came to them during the whole duration of their career. Y'all feel me? People is having a hard time letting go of that. People are, and not to say that you should ever let go, but like, yo, in 2015, we got all of these new artists out. Why is there not even a big 3 conversation anymore? Because y'all, the gatekeepers, the people that started it, they're not. If you was having hip-hop editorials and the magazines like The Source, the King magazine, the classic rap magazines, then you would have that big 3 conversation. But there was an alteration in hip-hop media. I'ma say in the 2000s, the hip-hop media and the artists, they were a bit more close, so I think they would get together and create these storylines. But now, it's more so blogger to artist. You gotta be cool with one of the bloggers. You gotta be cool with somebody in media. Media is all over the place as well. So I think there's a few factors that definitely go into this. America, make sure y'all subscribe to the Super Tube. And make sure y'all come vibe with the dude. Alright? Y'all know it's Astrostetics. Let's get it, baby. And stay tuned for part 2. Alright? Yeah. Whoa. Head on over to BarnesandNobles.com, Amazon.com, and pick up your copy of Astrostetics, The Aesthetics of Astrology today. This book is 500 pages. If you're curious about astrology, this book is for you. If you want to know how to read a birth chart, master reading the natal chart, this book is for you. Relationships, compatibility, synastry, financial astrology, astrocartography. If you want to know where's the best place for me to move, relocational astrology is in there as well. Pick up your copy right now. Head on over to BarnesandNobles.com, Amazon.com, and order Astrostetics today.